Hi family, Willie here with Sharkfin Shears. Thank you for allowing me to come on with you today and do some education. We're going to talk about texture shears, specifically the 5 different texture shears that we offer. And I think what's most important with today is we're going to show you how they actually look in hair, right? So we offer a 40 tooth, a 28 tooth, a 15 tooth, a 7 tooth, and then we offer what's called an eraser or a double-sided blending shear, okay? So we're gonna start off first with the 40 tooth. So 42 texture shear, all right? First and foremost, I think a lot of times the word texture shear is used generically whenever we talk about any of these shears. So I like to give them a name that is, it references what I might use them for in hair, right? So the 40 tooth, I call a blending shear, right? Which means I use it in short hair for blending out lines. I use it in long hair for, removing weight and creating texture and movement in long hair, okay? But I still want it to be attached. So here's the easiest thing to do. This is what I like doing the most, is to physically show you in hair what it looks like when you do this. So the sign of a good texture shear is that you can put it in hair, close it, and then use it as the comb, regardless of how many teeth are on it, right? I think working with you, accuracy and efficiency is so important that I want to show you how to use these texture shears because it could up your time, which is incredible for me to think about because you're kicking out 3 to 5 haircuts an hour. But with your culture, I think this will be a very good use for you. So the 40 tooth blending shear, you see when you put it in and raise it out, you have a very fine line, okay? Everyone always talks about what percentage of hair does it remove, what percentage. It doesn't matter. No one understands what it leaves behind, the texture it may create, okay? So that's the 40 tooth. Next up is a 28 tooth. I truly call this a texturizing shear. I use it in short hair for scissor over comb for my guests who don't want to use a clipper in barbering. And in long hair, I use it on people who have a ton of hair and you always want to remove weight because they're always talking about how heavy it is, right? So this is a 28 tooth. So here we go, right? Put it in. You see how that swivel allows me to keep that wrist straight too. So there you see. When you come in here, you see, like you can see the teeth when you leave it in, the hair actually takes the shape or pattern of what the teeth are. This is a really great shear if you're doing like long bobs to add that texture and shatteredness at the ends. It's also a great shear in barbering for your guest who wants texture and movement in their hair, but still wants length. So we're not using clippers. Then next up is the 15 tooth. I call this a debulking shear, right? Because, I grabbed the wrong one. That's the 7 tooth. I call this a debulking shear because when someone has more hair than what I know what to do with, and I want to remove it, this is what I use from the occipital down. In short hair, I use it for like textured pompadours, French crops to create movement inside of the layering, right? So look at that texture. You can see it in between the hairs. And you see that line gets heavier and heavier with each shear. So that's the 15 tooth. Then I have here what I call the chunking shear, right? That 7 tooth. It's used to create a ton of texture and a ton of movement. Maybe it's in short hair like a pixie, or again, like a French crop like we have over here in the back, right? What's super important about this shear is understanding what it leaves behind. Look at that. Look at that shape in there. Look at those short layers it created in there. What short hair do to long hair? It pushes it. So volume, texture, movement, even though it's called a chunking shear, okay? So it does have a use. And again, everything about this is for efficiency and speed for you. You guys, everything, like, we just want to make it more comfortable by showing you a swivel, but we also want to reintroduce you to the texture shears, and using them properly will save you even more time, which is really cool. You can do all this with a cutting shear, or you can get the texture shear, and it's going to take you a fraction of the time. So what are we talking? More speed, more haircuts. Yay, right? So last, but certainly not least, is the eraser. This is our double-sided blending shear, 30 teeth on each side, 60 teeth total. We call it an eraser because it truly is a zero-line blending shear. So that's why we call it an eraser. This can be used in short hair and long hair alike. It does not matter. What's important is to know and understand what it does. It removes a ton of hair, just slides right through there. So I love this, again, for shear over comb. When my guest wants some length and I'm not using a clipper, I can use this or the 28 tooth. I also use this in short hair, blending out lines. So what the 40 tooth may do in 2 or 3 opens and closes, or 2 or 3 uses or passes, the eraser will do in 1. Okay, so again, just efficiency and accuracy when it comes to the eraser. A really great shear to have in your arsenal. So I hope this talk about texture shears helps. I hope it helps improve your haircuts. I hope it helps improve your efficiency and your accuracy. There's no doubt in my mind, when we use texture shears properly, even with that swivel, it's going to change how you work behind the chair. So I want to thank you again for allowing me in to do education. And as we say at Shark Fin, it's nice to be nice.